Excited to see you all. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amber Hefner. I'm the Executive Director of Illinois Digital Educators Alliance, and I am just going to thank the team from Book Creator. Catherine and John are incredible. Every event that we have with them, there's so much learning and creativity that happens. So we're always excited to showcase our Book Creator partners. And with that, John and Catherine, I am going to turn it over to you.
All right. Awesome. Amber, am I a co-host? Can I share my screen?
I'm able to share mine. Oh, there you go.
Should be perfect. There you go. All right. Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We know things are stressful, to say the least, and the fact that you're here is just awesome. So thanks for being here. First off, we'll kind of just jump right in here and introduce ourselves. So Catherine, why don't you give it a rip here? Let us know who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Capiello. I am the other teacher success manager here at Book Creator. I'm located in Chicago, so pretty close to probably several of you in Illinois. I'm a former educator myself. I've taught kindergarten, third grade, fourth grade, ninth grade, and 10th grade, so across the spectrum. Today, I'm going to be helping out kind of in the background. So normally I throw my dog on here to let you know if there's a squeaky toy or a bark in the background. I do apologize, but today I should be on mute, so you're not going to have to deal with that today. But I'll be helping out in the chat when as John goes through everything. So make sure that you, I don't think there's a Q&A. Perfect. So there's a chat. If you have any questions, throw those in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. And then I'm going to be putting a ton of resources in the chat as we go through. So make sure you have that chat window open next to your screen. Happy to be here.
All right. Thanks, Catherine. And I am John Smith. I don't have a dog with a squeaky toy. I have a dog. No squeaky toys. I got rid of those for the webinar. But I do have a squeaky door here behind me, and I have children who will be coming home from school soon. So that will probably happen. And I can't mute myself that much because I'll be the one doing some of the talking. So we'll get it figured out. But I am John Smith, for real. I am the iPod teacher on Twitter. So if you are on Twitter and you want to give me a shout out, great. If not, no worries. I'm also John Smith at bookcreator.com. So feel free to reach out to me at either place. And same with Catherine. We love talking about Book Creator and ways you can use it in your classroom. So don't hesitate to reach out. Taught special ed for 12 years, was a technology integration specialist after that for 7 years in a different school district. And now I am one of 2 teacher success managers here at Book Creators. So really excited to be here. Married, like I said, 3 kids, 11, 7, and 4. I love golf. So if there's any golfers out there, I love golf and I love clean cars. So I'm a detailer on the side. So if you have a dirty car and you're anywhere near Ohio, a little longer drive than Catherine, but I'm here if you need that car wash. So again, really excited to be here today and talking about digital citizenship with you. So today's agenda, we are going to talk about digital citizenship. We're going to talk a little bit about Book Creator itself, getting started with Book Creator if you're not familiar with it. And then we're going to share plenty of resources and wrap up our time with some Q&A. So for those of you that are watching the clock, we will probably get out of here just a little bit early because Catherine and I both have webinars coming up in the next hour as well. So just kind of keep that thought process. Catherine did mention that you can put comments, questions, things like that into the chat window. Just be sure that if you do put something into the chat window to make sure you change the drop down in that chat window so that it says everyone, so that we can all see your comments and questions, unless it is something that you send directly to Catherine or myself. Now, if you're going to ask a question and you do send it directly, I would suggest sending it to Catherine as I'll be presenting and I may not see it kind of come through that chat window. So real quick, I guess, before we get into all of this, how many, I guess if you could rank yourself on your level of Book Creator expertise, 0 being no expertise and 10 being John, go away, I could teach this to the group myself, where would you fit on that spectrum? So let's go ahead and put that into the chat window. All right, we got a 6, a 3, a 3, 1, perfect. All right, cool. So we're hovering right around 3, 4, for most of us, which is great. So real quick, we are not going to go over all of Book Creator's features here today. We're going to mostly focus, like I said, on digital citizenship, but we will certainly talk about different bits of Book Creator today. And before we get into the digital citizenship piece, I do want to give just a little bit of background that I think would be helpful for everyone, regardless of your skill level with Book Creator. And Catherine, maybe if you want, if you could throw a getting started webinar, maybe a link or something in there, from YouTube or something into the chat window, that might be helpful. But I do want to just, like I said, kind of talk a little bit about Book Creator. And since most of you have labeled it as a 3 or a 4, then you do know how to get to Book Creator. So if you go to app.bookcreator.com, this is where you're going to create your account. And you can certainly create a free account, or if you want, you can sign up for a paid version. It's totally up to you, or maybe your school district has made some purchases for you as well. But this is where you're going to go. And I always just like to kind of front load things by saying, be careful when you get here, because there are actually 2 different sign-ins. There's the student sign-in and the teacher sign-in. So you want to make sure you click teacher before you sign in, and then sign in with one of these options. But once you've gotten into your account and you've answered a few questions, I do want to bring your attention here to this these 3 black lines at the top left. And as we're mostly able to 3, 4, a couple of 6s in there, the teacher dashboard is a great place to go with tons of information. Now, we are recording this webinar, so you can always go back and look at the recording of this one. You can look at the link that Catherine put in there for a Getting Started webinar. But here in the teacher dashboard, there are plenty of other resources that are here to help you. In the Discover section specifically, we have sample books written by students and teachers from various grade levels. Just click on the grade level of your choice, and you'll see wonderful books written by students and teachers. And then underneath that, we have books that are written by our ambassadors. So on a wide range of topics, everything from differentiation to formative assessment, high school classroom math, science, and social studies. We do have a digital citizenship book, which we're going to be talking a little bit about today. And then underneath that, we have books by subject. So again, if you are, English language arts, I think that's probably like the first connection, right? Everybody's like, oh yeah, books, English language arts. But there are so many other ways that you can use Book Creator. And these links down here at the bottom will take you to libraries filled with books by subject area. So I would encourage you all to take a look at this Discover section, because there are just thousands of ideas for using Book Creator inside that section. Right next to that is our Learn tab. And again, for those of you that are kind of on the lower end of your knowledge of Book Creator, I would definitely recommend the Learn tab. In the Learn tab itself, there are plenty of support articles here under these white buttons. So you're going to simply just click on these buttons, and it will take you to support articles for all aspects of Book Creator. And then underneath that, we have our Book Creator Certified Authors course. And what's really awesome about this course is when you click this blue button, it will take you to a video course where you can watch 14 videos that take you on that deep dive of Book Creator. And they are short videos ranging from about 1.5 minutes to maybe 8 minutes at most. Finish the videos in any order that you want, and then take the quiz, and you become a Book Creator Certified Author, and you get this cool badge that you can download, you can put into your email signature, put out on social media, whatever you need to do. But more importantly, it does give you that deep background and knowledge base of Book Creator. So I would encourage you to try that out. If you've already completed that certification, maybe you can put that into the chat window as well. Just let us know. We always like to see what teachers are certified, but if not, like I said, I definitely encourage you to take a look at that. Encourage your friends too. If you shared Book Creator with other people, explain to them about the Learn tab and how that will help them deepen their knowledge of Book Creator. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into our library, and we're going to talk about digital citizenship at this point. And the first thing I want to do is kind of just talk a little bit about the definition of digital citizenship, at least the definition that I found online. And I really like this definition because it says digital citizenship is the ability to participate safely, intelligently, productively, and responsibly in a digital world. And what I love about that is that, during this pandemic, we have all kind of just been thrust into this world of technology, sometimes whether we wanted to or not, right? And same thing with our students. And at the time, I don't know if we really had prepared digital citizenship for what was about to happen. And I think sometimes we kind of look back and we're like, oh gosh, we probably should have had some digital citizenship type lessons, right, to teach our kids about this. And I also think that what's interesting about these specific statements, safety, intelligently, productively, right, and responsibly, is that if we as teachers don't understand that and how to do that kind of stuff, it doesn't mean we have to be on social media. It doesn't mean we have to do all these things like a lot of our kids do, but at least have some kind of knowledge of it. Because if we don't, and we can't model it for students, then that's when students start to find things out on their own, right? And a lot of times it gets them in trouble, right? And so again, safely, intelligently, productively, and responsibly using things in our digital world. And again, the second part of that definition actually talks about mentored experiences where teachers are helping students create and practice those positive and deliberate creative skills, right? And so I think this is where Book Creator can really come in handy and be used for all kinds of different situations. And so one of the things that we have recently done is we have partnered with Common Sense Education, and we have taken some of their lessons and we have turned those into digital books. And so I'm going to show you a few of those books. I'm going to show you a few other books that we've worked with another school district. And then we're going to wrap things up with showing you some of my ideas from Monica Burns's Digital Citizenship booklet. But the very first one that we want to talk about right here is Pause and Think Online. And Catherine's going to put a link to this book in the chat window. And one of the things that's really awesome about the link is that when you click on the link, it's going to take you to a live version of the book. All right. And so I'm going to, here's the live version of the book that when you click on the link, this is what you will see. And before we get into the book and show you all of the goodies that are inside, this is a really important piece because you may find that you love this book. And in the past, you could only click this button that said read now, and you'd be able to read that book online. You could share it with your students. They could read it online, but that was kind of it. Over the summer, we updated Book Creator, and we now have the ability, if the author allows, for other people to read the book to be able to remix it. And so that link, when you click on it, you're going to want to see it. You're going to want to click this button that says remix. And what's going to happen is it's going to ask you to sign in, right? So you're going to sign in as a student or a teacher. In this case, you're going to sign in as a teacher. You're going to log into your Book Creator account. And once you're in your Book Creator account, you will then be able to copy that book into a different library of your choice. So you can put it into any of the libraries that you have created. All right. So again, if I sign in, I click copy, and I choose to put that book into a library, much like I did right here. Once that book is in your library, now you can go through and you can edit that book to fit your needs. All right. Yeah. So nice feature that you didn't know about, right? Yeah. That came out over the summer. It's, kind of a little bit of a hidden feature in there, but it is really cool. And it's not just for books that we did with partners. You can do the same thing with books for your students and for your district as well. So if you want to create a book, when you go to publish that book by clicking the share button and publishing it online, there is the option right there to allow remixing. And if you turn that on, that's when you will be allowing others to remix that book into their own accounts. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click inside this one. So Pause and Think Online is just one of the lessons that Common Sense has, and we took it and adapted it and put it here into Book Creator. And so let's go through a little bit of this and show you what we're thinking about as we were putting these together. And so here, the very first page, right off the bat, I think this is really awesome. And it's, hello, do you like to go on the internet? Me too. Let's learn how to be safe and kind as we go online. And so this book is a journey through this process of learning digital citizenship. And as you go through this, because you have made a copy of it, again, you can edit any of this as you see fit. Your students can even make a copy of the book itself and put it into the library so that they can edit their own copy. And you might find that students right here already, do you like to go onto the internet? They might already go in here and decide to answer that question, right? They might click the plus button, click the record, and they can add their own voice, right? So if I click record, start recording, gives me a countdown. I love going on the internet. My favorite thing to do is to go to YouTube and watch Dude Perfect videos. That was me in my son's best voice, right? So there is an audio button. So I can put that right there. And now I have a little audio clip of something that I like to do on the internet. Maybe I put a video in there instead. And then this just popped into my head too. If you are a special ed teacher like I was, you might have students who go through this book and they look at this page right here and they're like, okay, hello. And then they can't read the rest, right? And they struggle with trying to figure out what it says. So of course you could click the play button here and go into read mode where the book will be read to you. Or my personal favorite, as the teacher, I can click the plus button and that record button, and I can record my own voice reading the page to the students. So now you can do all kinds of things to help your students be successful at navigating this book. Next page, what kinds of things do you do online? There's a talk about it section here. There are key vocabulary options here. So online, using a computer, phone, or tablet to visit a website or an app. So there's a lot of things that you can do here, a lot of instruction to give your students. Again, more key vocabulary, pause and think. There is a little audio button right here. So if you click and listen to this.
When we go online, it's important to follow certain rules to make sure we have a good time.
All right, now I'm not gonna make you listen to the whole thing, but there are nice little audio clues as we go throughout the book that your students can listen to. There's videos that your students can watch, so those are embedded directly in the book page itself. And then the digital citizens. And as you go through it, there they are, nice and colorful. Your kids are going to really, really enjoy this, balancing your time. So again, it's kind of a journey through this. And why is it important to take a break from our devices? So click and listen and think about ways that you can take a break. Now, students, there's a couple different ways that you could do this. You could do this in class, and you could write your answers up on the board, and you can have a big discussion about why it's important to take breaks. You could have students, like I said, make a copy of this book and answer their own question right here within Book Creator. So there are so many different ways that you can use these books that doesn't always have to be, the way that you think you might want to use it, right? I know that right now, with all the stress that's happening, sometimes the students and teachers feel like they might need a little bit of a break, right, from devices. And so you can still use this information, whether it's in Book Creator or you're just going to, have discussions with your class. So a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of good discussion comments. Use your head to ask questions about what you see online, asking students, what does that mean to you? And what kind of questions would you ask? Why is it important to ask questions about what you see? Again, more pages, listen to your gut, right? And be safe. I always teach a graduate class. And when I talk to adults about social media and being online, my philosophy is a little similar to this. I use a different kind of phrase. I just say to the teachers, if you think what you're about to post is stupid, it probably is, and you probably shouldn't, right? And so essentially it's the same kind of thing, right? Listen to your gut. And if something inside you is saying, don't post it, you probably shouldn't, right? Why shouldn't you open a message from someone that you don't know? So funny that I'm reading this page. No joke, about 30 seconds before this webinar, I get an email from Apple telling me that I made a purchase, right? And did I approve the purchase? Click on this link in this PDF and tell me whether you approve the purchase. And the short answer is absolutely not. I am not doing that, right? Because I went in through Apple's own app and looked at my purchases and it wasn't there. So this was a phishing scam, right? So you shouldn't just trust everything that you see coming into your inbox, right? And so this is an important one too. Why shouldn't you open a message from someone that you don't know? So you're going to click on that, and you're going to learn a lot more. Leaving digital footprints, right, in your lives. And why should you be careful sharing? I'm sure we all have stories about things we probably should not have shared. Same thing with kids. I'm sure they have examples. And so I'm going to click on the pages view here, and you can kind of see this bird's eye view of all of this good stuff. I love this here. Who's your favorite? Digital citizenship. Why? Great discussions. Or as we get to the end of this book, explain why this character is one of your favorites. So you can write in your answers here. You can add an audio button. You could even put a video in there if you wanted to. Lots of different options, again, for those students. And then there's a song. Again, pause and think from your feet to your nose. And as we wrap up the book, dance along. Record yourself dancing and singing along to that video. Now, depending on the age of the student, they may jump all over that. I know my daughters would. They would be like, yep, record me right now. We're going to do this dance. And they would have a blast with it. And then that is the end of our book. We just kind of, at the end of the book, tell you where we got this lesson from. And if you were to click on this link right here, if I was in play mode, I'll go to play mode. If I were to click on this link, it would actually take you to the common sense education lesson specifically for pausing and thinking online. And so there's all of the extra goodies that you may or may not want, right, for following up. All right, so that is the Pause and Think book. So just as a kind of a recap, so if you are logged into Book Creator right now by chance and you want to do this, we're going to give you about a minute or two to kind of take a break from listening to us and kind of go into this if you are interested. Again, the process is very easy. You click on the link that Catherine put into the chat window, and it will take you to our website right here. And when you click on this button that says remix this book, if you are already logged into Book Creator, it's going to give you a little bit of a drop down, and you're just going to choose what library you want to put the book in. If you are not logged into Book Creator, it's going to ask you to log into Book Creator, and then it's going to ask you to choose that library once you've logged in. All right, so at this point, I'm going to give you about another minute or so to do that if you're interested. And if not, if you don't want to do that right now, that's fine. In the chat window, if there's any questions or comments or aha moments, does this look exciting? Do you think your students might be engaged in this process? Go ahead and tell us that in the chat window. And like I said, we'll give it about a minute or so here so that you can download that book right into your library. And Catherine, if I forgot anything about that book or the process, let me know.
I think you went through it very thoroughly, so I think you're good.
All right. Watching a chat window here. See if we got anything. Yeah, absolutely, Catherine. So Catherine, can you put that link back into the chat window? And we will also send a link at the end of the webinar that will have all of the resources in one big place. We thought it'd be nice to kind of break up break it up throughout the webinar. Do you have an adult version of the book that we could post on social media? So, and this is a great question. And Amber, I love that question because the short answer to that is no, I don't. But this is what's awesome about that. Because these books are remixable, you can certainly take your own slant on this information and try to fit it so that it fits more into adult situations. So I love the ability to remix these books. All right, next up, online friendships, Hearts Online Friendships. And so I think this one is very important. My wife and I talk about this on a daily basis. My wife is a school counselor. And so her view on like online friendships is way different than my view, right, with technology. And so I love this one because it's talking about those online friendships. And I think sometimes as adults, we think of friendships, right, like in the old kind of sense, right, like when we grew up. And we don't think of somebody that I don't have never met online as a friend, right? But kids are different. And so this book talks about ways to stay safe and online when it comes to those friendships. And what I love about this one is that it gives you different scenarios. All right, so here's Hart preparing to chat online with someone from her sister's school in India. All right, and they've never met before. And there's an example of like a text message over here, and then all these awesome things that start to play out, right? And shall I follow you on photo fun? Yeah, oh, she wants to be my friend. And so these are like situations that your kids are going through, and that they experience on a daily basis, right? And so here's scenario number 2. They don't know the real name, real age, but they've been online friends for a while. They see a message, and keep going on, right? So lots of different scenarios here that your kids can experience. And then there's another audio button where they can listen to. They talk about private information. And this one is funny to me. Catherine's going to laugh at this one too. It talks about your address and name and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how many times in a webinar I had shared my personal address, right? My home address, because I used it as a demonstration for Google Maps. And the book creator people were like, you should probably stop, posting your address in all of the webinars that you do. It's probably not the safest. And I didn't really think about it too much until one day I was doing a webinar, and no joke, mid-webinar, I probably had 30 phone calls from India. Like, it was weird. Like, right as I'm telling people my address, like all of a sudden I start getting these weird phone calls. So this is definitely something to think about. Again, not just for kids, but for adults as well. I know from some stuff that I've read that a lot of times hackers find like passwords just by reading through people's like Facebook posts. Because in the Facebook posts, they talk about like their dogs' names and their phone numbers and ages of children and that kind of stuff. So just gonna be very careful. But what are the benefits of online friendships? And so I love this one too. Again, what are the benefits? I'm sure there are, right? Your kids are going to think there's definitely benefits to being friends. And so here's the one. What are the benefits of the friendship with India Lotus? What are the friendships with or benefits with CJ Cool? All right, so you can type or record your answer in here. And then what are the risks of the two different relationships that the students have? And I think the more we do this, what's right about the situation, what's wrong about the situation, the more we can talk about this with students, the more likely they are to have those conversations in their own head when they are experiencing these relationships. So I do think this is really, really important. How should Hart respond to the students or to the friendships online? And how would you respond to these different, shall I follow you on photo fun? What would your response be? And then the same thing here. Here maybe are some suggested answers. Because you can now edit this book, you can copy any of these and you can put your own suggested answers back in here. And how would you respond to CJ Cool's suggested answers? And then is it okay to share? So deciding which information is good to share or not. And this is a drag and drop, right? So that you can drag and drop these things right into the appropriate box and have discussions with your students. And then again, as we get to the last page, there is the actual link to this lesson in Common Sense Education. Now, before I get into the last book, I do want to share with everybody, just briefly, I had mentioned the fact that students can make a copy of this book as well, so that they can make their own version within your library. And there's a couple different ways to do it. One, the students would join your library, and if the book is online, they can click that remix button and it can remix into that student's library. For me, I think one of the easier ways too is once the students are in your library, they may see all of these books. And as the teacher, I might put the word template in front of one. And then that way, when the students join the library, they'll see the book here that says template. And they're going to click the book icon underneath. They're going to click copy book. And then they're going to choose your library. So here's my idea library. I'm going to click on that. And it's going to make an exact copy of that book that the student can now edit. All right. And it won't mess up the original. So I still have my template book, but now the student who made the copy has their own copy. And so now you can use these almost like an interactive journal, right, experience for all of your students. So they can go through and they can listen to the questions and do it independently. My only suggestion is that if you have students making copies like this, it'll say copy in front of it. And then the second student's book will say copy, copy, and then copy, 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 right? So as the teacher, you're gonna go through and you're gonna see a bunch of copies. So what I always instruct my students to do is change your name. Instead of where it says copy, put your name in there so that I know as the teacher which book it is if I'm looking at it. All right. And then kind of as a side note to that, if that process still seems a little bit cumbersome, at the top, there's a little drop down here that says everyone's books. And if I don't want to look at everyone's books, I can simply click on the student names that I see here. So if in this case, I could click on Catherine, it will show me the books that Catherine has written inside of this library. Now, in this case, it isn't any right now, but if I click on everyone's books, or I click the drop down and choose which student I want to see. All right. And so not just for the activities we're talking about today, but just general book creator usage. That's a good way to kind of sort out whose work you're looking at. All right. And then the last book that we did with Common Sense Media was this one, The Rings, Your Rings of Responsibility. And again, very similar, right? Work style where you can answer questions, you can color things in, there's a quiz, there's a family activity, which I think is really awesome. Definitely want your kids to get their families involved, right? Because the more people that we have talking about these things, the more important it's going to be, right? The better it's going to be for the students. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at these lessons and activities in here as well. All right, so those are the three books that we did specifically in conjunction with Common Sense Education. But I do want to share a few other examples of some books that we've done, which I think is really, really cool. This first book, we actually partnered with Hillsborough County Public Schools in Florida because this week, starting, I don't even know what today is, Catherine. What is today? Today's Wednesday. Good grief. Starting Monday was actually the start of Digital Citizenship Week worldwide, right? And so this school district asked us if we could partner with them to create some kind of competition in their district. And so you don't always have to have a competition. And I know this week is almost over, but these are ideas that you can take with you regardless of the time of year. But this is a really cool book because in here, it talks about digital citizenship. This district decided to give some swag to people that participated in this contest, ways that the students and teachers could get involved. I gave an overview of what the contest looks like so that, try to get the teachers excited, how to get started in their district. If you signed up, you got a premium license if you wanted to be part of the contest. But then there's some really awesome things that happen next. There are 4 different lessons that you can choose from depending on your grade level. So if you're K2, say goodbye to technology. If you're 3-5, the words that we choose. 6-8, digital drama. And 9-12 was who you are on social media. And so we're going to put those links into the chat window here as well in just a minute. But the teachers would figure out which book they were going to use. And then inside of those books, there are student templates that the students will then work on. And at the very end, they're going to get combined and they're going to put together in a collaborative book that they're going to submit as their competition submission. So really, really awesome stuff and a lot of great information in here. And as a matter of fact, we do have a blank version of this book right here. Catherine, do you have that blank version or do I need to put that link in there?
Can you put that link in the chat?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy this link right here. And this is a blank version of that book that's not specific to Hillsborough, but if you're interested in doing some kind of digital citizenship lessons or collaboration contest or something with your school, you can certainly use this book as a starting point. All right, and you can even remix it like we said before. So here's one. This is the K2 book, Saying Goodbye to Technology. And again, what I think is really nice about this book specifically is there are lots of different ways you can take it. We decided to put some teacher notes in here. All right, so what is this lesson based on. And if you click on the link here itself, it will then take you to a, whoops, I need to go to read mode, sorry. It will take you to that saying goodbye lesson directly on Common Sense Education's website. And so again, you get step-by-step directions, the CASEL focus on SEL, self-management, activity steps, and all kinds of goodies in there. And so we just adapted that lesson right here in Book Creator. So there's lesson objectives. I'm going to go back to edit mode here because I want to show you some of the cool things that we did here alongside of it. So here's the topic warm up. Have you ever been watching TV when a grown-up asked you to stop? How did it make you feel? If you're my son, it would probably be the end of the world, right? Like he's so involved, like he loves his show. And if you tell him to stop, it's time for dinner or bed, right? He gets upset, like he likes it that much. Why is it important to stop what you're doing, right? And pause for people, even if you don't want to. And so we can talk about this as a group, right? As a class out loud. And then over here on the right in the margins, there's actually teacher notes that tells you, kind of ideas for helping guide the discussion, things that you might want to ask your students to kind of help you along the process. And as you go through, there's videos, activities that you can do as a class, pause, breathe, finish up the main key points in this lesson, talking about stories. And then these are the student tasks. And so again, if you click on these links, it will take you to the live version, and then the students can go in and remix it. So the students can make a comic strip in this case, all right? So a comic strip talking about either individual or small groups. And so what I love about these is not only could they make a comic book, but there's also the option here for making a video. So depending on which group of students you have, do they want to role play by making a story, or do they want to role play by making a video? So this would be very cool. My son would make a story, my daughters would make a video, right? Really awesome. Differentiation kind of thrown right in there. And again, here are some of the blank pages. What's wrong, the wrong way to do it, the right way to do it. Your kids will have a blast making the wrong way because that's the way they're used to, right? And then they have to think hard about the right way to react to things. So this is a really cool thing. And then again, setting up the stage here with video. So awesome options here. We do have the words you choose for grades 3 through 5. There is Digital Drama Unplugged, grades 6 through 8. So I'm going to click in this one here just to show you the difference in pages. So you can see the page design has gotten a little more sophisticated, right? Not as young looking, I suppose, but a little more sophisticated as you grow up. And again, we're talking about different scenarios and ways to de-escalate those problems. And then the final book there was the high school, right? Grades 9 through 12, who you are on social media. So definitely want you to take a look at all of these amazing resources that we have at our disposal. And then the last one that I want to share with you, and I forgot to put, well, actually I didn't forget, I can't put it in there. This is not my book, but this is definitely one of the books that we love. And this is a book written by Monica Burns. So Dr. Monica Burns wrote this book on creative digital citizenship in your classroom with Book Creator. And as you can see, just very colorful, really engaging style here. There's a table of contents. And so there's all these different sections. And if you just click on these links, it'll take you directly to that page. So if I'm interested in digital footprint and identity, I can click on the page here, page 12, and it will take me directly to that page. And talks about what is a digital footprint, talking about who you are online. So very similar kinds of ideas that Monica took also from Common Sense Education and some other sources, but great ways to engage students and ask them questions. And as you flip through this book, there are just tons and tons of examples that you can use, as background or that your students can even read through. And I would love to see not only this book being shared in class, but I'm sure from my own experience that students, when they go through these books, will look at it and be like, yeah, that's cool, but like it didn't incorporate this part to it. And so that's when I love to go to students and say, all right, well, if you don't like this, then I want you to make your own version, right? How would you talk about digital citizenship to your friends, right? Or what kind of book would you write as a student to other students? In the last webinar actually that we did last night, Catherine and I heard from a teacher who said she taught in high school. And she would love to take her high school students and have them write children's books about digital citizenship for the younger students. And so I think that's really powerful as well, especially because high school students have been through some of these things, maybe more so than younger students. So they have experiences to kind of build on, and they can then write stories about it. So this is really awesome. Love this book. Tons of ideas and stories in here. So I would definitely encourage everyone to take a look at those books as well. All right. Catherine, did I miss anything?
Nope, I think we'll just go into the common sense stuff.
All right, awesome. So two other things that we want to talk about. The first of which is this link right here, and Catherine will put that into the chat window. And this is a link that will take you to our blog post on Digital Citizenship Week. And everything that we talked about today is in this blog post. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at that, because you're going to get all of the links, all of the books, everything that we talked about. And definitely, like Catherine said, you'll definitely want to save this link. So a lot of times when I'm on webinars and there's all these links going through, I just click on them and open them up in my browser and just leave them there, right? And save them for later. And then I can come back and sort through those at a different time. And then the last link that I wanted to talk about is the Common Sense Education link specifically. And that, if you go to this link, which Catherine also just put into the chat window, it does talk about Digital Citizenship Week, and it's got a video, it's got resources, and then right here, it's got daily activities. So elementary, middle school, and high school. And if you just click on one of those links, it will take you to a document that has all of these Digital Citizenship Week activities. This one specifically for elementary school. And you can see where we got some of our books from, the words we choose, all these different activities. So encourage you to take a look at this. There's just so much information here worth digesting. And I think that you and your students are going to like it and benefit greatly from, kind of going through these resources. All right. So any thoughts or questions? Did I see a question there? Will we be able to read the books later? Absolutely. So you can go to the blog post, or like Catherine said, save those links in a separate browser, and then you can go back and look at those at any point. What else, Catherine? Did I miss anything? Are we good?
I think we're good.
All right. So again, before we leave, comments, aha moments, questions, things like that, dump those into the chat window. We want to hear what you're thinking. Are you excited about this? Maybe you just want us to leave. I don't know. What are you thinking right now? I saw some smiles when I said that. I said, maybe you just want us to leave. All right. Awesome. Awesome resources. Good. Love the ideas. Has anybody used different ideas for digital citizenship in the past? So, Catherine, how do we get a copy of the template so that kids can modify their own copy? Is that what you're asking, Catherine? Just want to make sure. I think so. So at those links, all of the books that we shared have the ability to be copied and remixed into your library, with the exception of Dr. Monica Burns's book. Okay, that one can only be read online. But once you as a teacher make a copy of these books and put them into your library, like I have here, when the students join, they'll see the books here. And then all they have to do is click the book icon at the bottom, click copy book, and then they're going to choose your library. So you want them to put it into your library so that you can see them. And once they do that, then they can edit their copy. Yes, and I personally would say next to the book, I would put the word template so that the students know that that is the book that they need to copy, right? Or you could even put template copy book, right? Or whatever, just so that your students know that book is what they need to copy. moving forward. Yeah. They will not be able to edit your copy. That is correct. Unless for some reason you turned on collaboration. So as long as you don't turn on collaboration, they are not going to be able to edit your copy. Yep, great questions. All right. Great. Amber, anything for the good of the order?
Gosh, as usual, incredible resources. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you, John, so much. I'm actually capturing all of the links from the chat, and we will put those in our follow-up email tomorrow that includes the recording of the session as well. So everyone will have those, and those who couldn't attend live will get them as well. So thank you so much. They're incredible, and I can't wait to look over them. And congrats on the book by Monica to be included. That's an awesome resource as well. So I did put the link for professional development hours in the chat. So if you are looking for those PDHs, please go to the chat and click on the link that I placed in there for one PDH. And another big thank you to Catherine and John for your support and sharing these wonderful materials, and good luck on your next 2 webinars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Busy
Thank
afternoon.
It is.
All right.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Be safe out there.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.